Hi, everyone. It's Welcome to the Week with Dr. RP. This is for week 3 of Intro to Doc Studies. As we get started this week, I wanted to give you an overview of what this week's about, talk about some assignments due this week, and then do some housekeeping and talk about upcoming assignments for week 4. So what are we going to talk about this week in week 3? Well, this week you're going to read chapter 1 of the dissertation journey and an excellent chapter called Risk. This week we're talking about imposter syndrome and how to work through barriers that we face, emotional and personal barriers that we face when thinking about writing, and the feelings that we might have that come up in the experience of being in a doctoral program and doing doctoral work, graduate work, and then ultimately the dissertation. So we've already read a few chapters in the dissertation journey, and now we're going back a little bit backwards in our dissertation journey to chapter 1. And chapter 1 is called Do You Have What It Takes? And they're going to be asking you some of the questions that we asked you during the application and interview process for the EDD program, if you are part of the EDD cohort. But we're also gonna, but even if you already answered or thought about some of those questions because you went through that interview process with us, I want you to be thinking this week about some of the questions that they ask you in chapter 1. So some of those questions that they're going to be having you think about are, why are you taking this journey? What is it that has made you decide you want to take go through this process of getting a doctorate, knowing your why and really having that why cemented in your thinking and in your heart is really going to help you when you get to some of those obstacles and barriers that you might face over the next 3 to 4 years. And so as you're reading the chapter, I want you to be thinking about the questions that they're asking you and really be reflecting on the answers that you have for yourself. They're going to also suggest some strategies to overcome those barriers, some ways to overcome procrastination, some ways to overcome the struggles that you might have as a new doctoral student, but also as a doctoral student, a more advanced doctoral student as you get to the dissertation phase, both in terms of procrastination, emotional barriers, and writer's block. They also have a section on concentration. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be talking about things like setting up a writing space and other ways to improve your concentration. But I think even just for getting yourself back into that graduate workspace, this chapter is really going to help you think about what those spaces are. And in your partner chat this week, you're going to be talking about some of those 10 essentials that they mention. Or I think I wrote down 6, but I think it's 10. Anyway, some of those essentials. So the other thing you're going to be reading this week is a chapter called Risk. And in the chapter, the author, Pamela Richards, talks about her experience. It's a letter that she writes to her professor or an old advisor, talking about the experience that she had trying to write in a new way and why it felt so uncomfortable for her and what the real risks are with getting feedback from our peers, how that feels, why we struggle with trusting others with getting and giving feedback, and how we learn to overcome those fears to really move past those fears so that we can receive the feedback we need to move into a place of trust and become risk takers who are better writers and scholars. I think that as we think about people who want to be transformational in the ways that we work within higher education spaces, thinking about this, using feedback exercises and writing experiences as proxies for the ways that we want to become transformational leaders is a really good place to start. Small, safe exercises, in asking for feedback, and then moving on into being transformational leaders within our academic spaces. So let's keep that in mind as we're reading. The other thing we have to look forward to this week is a really good conversation with Dr. D. Marks, who at the time of the recording was leading the Pro Ruse office, but as many of you know, is now in charge of the high school college partnership program here at UMKC. It's a great conversation about how to think about writing, how to think about imposter syndrome, and how to overcome those moments when you just aren't sure that you have what it takes to be a doctoral student, to be a successful academic writer, and to succeed in your doctoral program. I know you're going to enjoy it as much as I did that conversation. In fact, I laugh because I'm wearing this dress in that video, which was taken a few years ago. So enjoy it. I know I did. And let's see what else is ahead for the week. This week, you have your library discussion, your library research project, which is due on Thursday. And when you click that, you'll find the questions that you need to follow in your discussion board. So copy the questions, paste them into the discussion board, and then answer them as you do the assignment. You'll make sure that you discuss, go and engage in feedback with each other by Sunday. You'll also get feedback from me and from our librarian colleague. And then you'll have a partner chat this week. Your partner chat is due by Sunday. The partners have been assigned, and you'll see feedback on you'll see information on how to access your partners in the partner chat assignment. There are discussion prompts to start your conversation. You'll need to reach out to your partner and decide how you're going to do your partner chat. You can do it in person, by phone, over Zoom, or any other way that's convenient to you. That needs to be no shorter than 30 minutes. And I suggest it's no longer than 60 minutes. Make sure that each person has a chance to share and that you're being a good listener. And then each partner should upload their summary of the conversation, no more than 250 words, by Sunday to Canvas in that partner chat assignment. And I just want to remind you that this is just this is an opportunity, just like we would have in class, to discuss what you learned from the readings. The prompts are there to guide you into some discussion questions, and your short summary does not have to be academic. It's just to say, like, here's some things we talked about. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your partner chats, and I get to have a partner chat myself this week since there's an odd number of students, and I'm looking forward to that too. Looking ahead to week 4, we're going to be talking about what is a dissertation. You'll read chapter 2 in our text, and everyone will skim an assigned dissertation. You'll also turn in the first draft of your research statement. So be thinking now about your research statement, and be sure to ask me if you have questions about that. There will be a discussion board post about dissertations in the future. We'll also have our informal meetup. It's synchronous and online, and I'll send out a poll about that this week. Looking forward to seeing all of you soon. Hope you have a great week. Bye now.